Welcome back to the Unikaksha. So in last one we were started about the visualization. Today we are going to cover the next part of the visualization. So let's directly go back to our R studio where we are performing all these visualizations. Yes. So till this point we have already covered that how to create different types of bar plots using ggplot2. Let's try to check some more type of plots, out of which we are first going to check something called as the box plot. So calls is the column on which we are going to implement box plot. So I just assume that the audience is aware about what the box plot is. Box plot is also called as the box whisker plot, wherein this particular part of the plot that you can see is called as the box part, and over here this is called as the whiskers. So over the whiskers, the small dots that you can see are called as the outliers. This middle line of this box is called as the median. This first line of the box is nothing but the first quartile of the data, which is also called as the 25th percentile of the data. This particular part is nothing but the 75th percentile of the data, or you can also call it as a Q3. So box plot helps us to understand whether the data is normally distributed or not. So from this, if you just simply try to have an imaginary line over the edges of this box plot, you'll find out that it shows you the shape of a bell curve, and that's why the data is slightly symmetric in nature, we can say. So that's basically what the box plot helps us at. It helps us to identify that whether the given data is symmetric in nature or not. And it also helps us to understand that where the outliers are, how many outliers are there, are they too far or they are very close to the boundary of the upper or lower whisker. So this information is also revealed by the box plots. Now let us try to add something more to this box plot. So in this case, I would like to check a box plot of age group with respect to calls. So we are aware that in this data set, we are provided with a 3 age group, 18 to 30, 30 to 45, and greater than 45. So we can see that if we simply check the box plot, the spread for the greater than 45 is comparatively smaller as compared to that of 18 to 30 and 30 to 45, which indicates that the number of people who are using the call services which are there having the age greater than 45 are considerably smaller on a span as compared to that of 18 to 30 and 30 to 45 for the calling purpose. Then if you wish to add something colorful to these plots, we can have such colorful plots wherein you can pass aesthetic on x-axis as age group, on y-axis as total number of call. In fill, instead of writing the color name, you can simply pass the color index as well. Or otherwise, if you get confused to the color index and if you want to specify a particular name, then you can pass the name as well. Outlier color you are giving as a blue. Outlier size is 2.5 in this case. You can change this size to 3, 3.5, 1.5. Like how much you want to highlight that particular outlier part. Based on that, you may change the size. And again, the labels are nothing but what we are plotting on x-axis, what on y-axis, and what's the overall title that we want to give to this particular plot. Then what about adding one more dimension to this plot? So as you can see in this case, we are having age group on x-axis, and the box plot is obviously for the calls for the different age groups. But again, we are splitting this age group using the gender. That means if you just can see, it is like a Dodge bar plot that we got. This box plot is somewhat similar to that. So 18 to 30, 30 to 45, greater than 45, these are the three age categories that we have. And the heights of the box plot are absolutely defining how the call spread is there. But within that, if you noticed, again, this box is having male and female, I mean the gender wise, we can see the Dodge kind of box plot over here. So for that reason, you'll specify on x-axis as age group, on y-axis total number of calls. You'll specify the geometry this time as box plots, because if you remember, geometry defines what kind of plot you want to build. Geometry, if it is a bar plot, then it goes for the bar plot. Geometry, in this case, it's a box plot, so it is plotting your box plots. Simply, if you perform coordinate flip, so that just one extra argument you have to add to your existing box plot, and you will find out that your entire x and y axis will get flipped with each other, and you'll get something horizontal type of the box plot instead of getting the vertical box plot. We are changing the type now to the histograms. So in the histograms, we need to pass only one continuous axis. So we are using working as a data set, and aesthetic that we are passing is nothing but a total number of calls. Histogram helps us to understand what is the distribution of the data. Bandwidth here indicates the width of this bands. If you specify very small number, the widths will be very narrowed. If you specify large numbers, say 60, 80 or 100, the width will be very high, and that would not look good. Then in aesthetic, again, we are filling that with no, this one we are dealing with first. So we are filling that with a maroon color. So that's basically why the color is like this. And on x-axis, obviously, we want to display the total calls. Y-axis defines the total number of customers, and the title is customer usage. Now, again, if you want to add something else or something extra into this, suppose I want to add the gender aesthetic to this. So obviously I can add that using a color. And so I'm saying that on the x-axis, I basically, want this histogram to be made up for the calls, but whatever is the color, that should be filled with one more aesthetic that is nothing but the gender. And so you can get to see the histogram for the male as well as the female customers into a single diagram, which makes it even more compact and easy to interpret as compared to plotting them differently. So these are basically few more visualizations that we have seen. So I just hope this tutorial was helpful for us in order to understand the types of the plots such as box plot in detail, and we have seen the histogram in detail. So for more such videos on visualization and the other topics related to the tech, stay tuned to our channel. Thank you.